Mending. It's an essential part of tending a handmade life. This is one of my favorite pieces that I hit with my elbow, and down it came, crashing to the floor. But now I'm going to see if I can fix it. Some Gorilla Glue, clamps, and hopefully a little bit of ingenuity. I'm really hoping this is going to work because I really do love this piece. I'm going to use Gorilla Super Glue Gel. It seems promising. I've never used it before, but we're going to give it a shot. I do like the way it goes on. I like the gel, and it seems to spread pretty evenly, so that's a good thing. I've got 4 main shards to glue together, but it looks like they're going together pretty well. There's definitely some gaps, which I've yet to figure out how I'm going to fill in, but so far, so good. You may notice I take my glasses off for close-up work. I do this when I'm making jewelry as well, but I can see better without my glasses for these close-up things. Now for the final piece of the puzzle. But maybe clamps might help. I know the super glue is supposed to hold really fast and quick and dry and all of that sort of thing, but there's something very reassuring about clamps. Okay, so maybe a couple more clamps just to make sure and hold everything in place. I do love clamps. So here's where I had to get creative. I only had just a few shards of the pieces that broke off to fill in all the gaps. So I took those shards, an old terracotta bead, and then mixed it with some earth pigment that turned out to be the exact color that I needed. And then mix them all up. Grind it some more to get the particles kind of uniform in size and shape, mostly just so that it's more of a powder. And then I mixed it with Mod Podge. You know, it's that stuff that people that do decoupage, and I don't know, it's a very useful sort of thing. I guess it's an acrylic based something, but I figured mix that with the powdered clay that was, that had been fired, the terracotta, and make a paste, and that was going to be my spackle for filling in all the little gaps. And just to build it up and layer it up, and seems to be working, so I'm quite pleased with myself. Look at that. So I'm just going to keep layering and filling in, let it dry a little bit, and get especially the edges where it had come off in a chunk, and just fill that in a little bit at a time, and then smooth it out, and it seems to be looking pretty good. Yes, I'm definitely pleased with how this is turning out. really pleased actually. So now I'm going to use the same green for the back of the piece. I'm not so worried about the green because I'll be painting over it, but there are definitely some big gaps in there that need to be filled. Of course, as things dry, I have to keep going back and refining a little bit and adding a bit more, trying to fill in the gaps so that they're as invisible as possible, which is considering what it looked like. So now I watered down the paste that I had, and I'm using that to sort of fill in and kind of color in the gaps, and hopefully it's all going to blend in and maybe the cracks won't be quite so noticeable. So as it dries, I keep refining and just sort of touching up and just trying to make it as unnoticeable as possible. Now I'm using 400 grit sandpaper. This is a wet dry sandpaper that I use for my jewelry. That's just it's something that I got on from Rio Grande. That's the jewelry supplier, but I think it's a 3M product. That's the sanding paper. It's like it's almost like it's on interfacing, so it's really a terrific thing. But I think I'm about there. This is a Daniel Smith watercolor ground. It's matte black and porous, so I think it's a nice fit for the filling in the black on the back. Just a bit more zhuzhing, as Carson Kressley would say, but I think I'm done. I'm quite happy. Now to rehang the pieces. These are all little clay wall pieces from Melissa Cadell. She's a potter that's, I can't remember the name of town. She's somewhere around Burnsville, North Carolina. But I just adore her pieces and love the textural images, the sculpture, everything about them. And now they're all back together.